when we move over to the Middle East, where top Hamas official and head of the terror group's negotiation team, Khalil al-Hayya, has stated that Hamas has reached an agreement in principle with Fatah and the other Palestinian factions to establish a technocratic committee to manage Gaza. Al-Hayya stressed that an agreement was reached with Fatah on the matter, despite a statement from Fatah last week opposing the declaration by Hamas and other factions, arguing that the PLO was the proper framework for addressing the issue of temporary administration in Gaza. Al-Hayya also stated that the committee would be temporary and should lead to Palestinian elections and the formation of a Palestinian national unity government. He did not answer when such a committee might be established, saying that he could not estimate the timeline. We're now joined by Peter Baum. He's the foreign editor of the Weekly Blitz, and he joins us live from London. Peter, thank you very much for joining us here. Peter, for those who don't know, what is Fatah, what is the PLO, and what separates them from Hamas?
Very briefly, Thomas, and thank you again for having me on your programme. There are two major quasi-governments leading the Palestinians. Fatah being the legacy position of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, mainly in the West Bank, and were originally in Gaza until dethroned by Hamas, a Iranian-backed militant terrorist group who now run Gaza and have been doing so for the last 15 or so years. So it's really a geographical split, but Fatah were dethroned from their position of ruling the whole of the Palestinian demographic. So that's the main difference, and one rules in Gaza and one rules in the West Bank and the Palestinian territories within Israel.
And what does that mean for this agreement? That a top official has come forward from Hamas and said that an agreement has been reached with Fatah, that legacy group that you speak of, to establish a technocratic committee that could one day manage Gaza.
Yeah, this is very interesting, Thomas, and it really actually reverts back to what we were talking about yesterday, about there being a power vacuum in Gaza and those various groups seeking to fulfill that vacuum. Now, clearly, Hamas is the main organization that wants to retain credibility, both militarily, which she may not be able to do, but certainly politically, which she may be able to do. Regarding the power vacuum, for a while, Palestinian Islamic Jihad was seeking to dethrone Hamas, but do not have the competencies or the manpower to do so. But the Arab clans, who are very opposed to the Palestinian Arab family clans, I should say, who are very opposed to both Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and backed by the Israelis, more importantly, were seeking to have some kind of role politically, which Israel would be very pleased about. However, the main players backing Hamas now are Egypt and Turkey. And it will be those two countries who, through the pressure they had brought on Hamas, clearly have forced Hamas to the table to make the statement that a form of, they would be happy to see a form of united Palestinian technocratic government governing the territories. So I really think this statement by the Hamas official has been brought about by the pressure created by Turkey and Egypt, and probably Qatar as well, and also with the solid backing of Donald Trump. So politically, it seems that Hamas could still be a credible force within the Palestinian hierarchy.
It's very interesting stuff. Thank you, Peter, for joining us here. It's a pleasure to talk to you, as always. We now move back over to Southeast Asia, where following the signing of the peace treaty between Cambodia and Thailand at the ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur. The ASEAN observers have now reached the disputed Thailand-Cambodia border, where Cambodian forces have now started to remove heavy weaponry from their side of the agreed-upon border. Thailand and Cambodia agreed on an initial truce in late July after intervention by Trump, as well as Chinese diplomats and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who chairs the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. A new joint declaration was signed by Thai Minister Orton and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, as well as Trump and Anwar. After the US leader landed in the Malaysian capital, 5 days after clashes erupted along Thailand and Cambodia's jungle-clad frontier this summer, as a territorial dispute triggered open combat, killing more than 40 people and forcing more than 300,000 to flee their homes. We are once again joined by Dr. Kumar to discuss this in further detail. Dr. Kumar, what more can you tell us about this update in regards to the Thailand and Cambodia ceasefire?
Well, Thomas, this whole incident reminds me of a Thai proverb which says that this water depends on boats and tiger depends on forest. I mean, it is about symbiosis. I mean, in the current geopolitical as well as the bilateral or multilateral scenarios, one country cannot stand without the support or without communicating with other countries, especially their neighbors. We are seeing in different parts of the world. We are seeing in Russia, Ukraine. We are seeing in South Asia, India, Pakistan. We are seeing in ASEAN. But what is very important here is that for ASEAN centrality, this stability is very important. And sitting in South Korea, I really feel this pain of this regional instability. So I am so happy to tell you that in my personal capacity, it is really positive for me to see this development. And President Trump should be applauded at least for engaging these two countries, and especially Malaysia also should be applauded for having such kind of accord. I mean, Kuala Lumpur Accord is a milestone in recent times, if we see, because like more than 40 people already died on the border dispute. And another good news today we could hear was that Thai authorities have released 18 prisoners of war. I mean, these prisoners of war does not just mean prisoners of war. Their families are dependent on that. So there is a human aspect. So from sitting in South Korea, I see like President Trump, when he's coming to APEC, he should engage North Korea also. And if there is no possibility of Trump-Kim talk, at least some kind of euphoric messaging is expected right now. So I am very positive personally, and I really want to thank all those parties who were playing central role in this agreement. I mean declaration. So this should be seen in that way. For ASEAN centrality, stability is very important, and this is a milestone in current circumstances.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Kumar, for joining us here on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you, of course. We now move on. Japanese citizens have shared their views ahead of US President Donald Trump's official visit to Japan. Trump is set to meet Japanese Emperor Naruhito on Monday at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, 6 years after their previous meeting during the first Trump presidency. Trump is also set to hold talks with Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanai Takachi, during his trip. Let's take a listen in to what some Japanese citizens have said about Trump's visit.
だからアメリカも単純に関税を上げたからじゃあアメリカが幸せかっつったら決してそんなこともないわけで、なんていうんですかね、落としどころっていうかやっぱり少なくとも様子見ないことにはね、この半年1年じゃあ関税上げた結果がどうなったのっていうそういう振り返りをして、そこで問題点があれば解決すべきだし、単純に今 上げろ上げろで上げちゃった結果、まあ、いろんな問題も起きてるでしょうし、防衛って難しい問題ではあるんですけど、まあ一つにやっぱ米軍基地の問題っていうのはずっと続けて起きてることで、まあそれがまあやっぱりね、近くに住んでる人にとっては日々の問題であるものの、やっぱ遠くにいる人間からするとなんかもう防衛がうんぬんっていうところはもうまず身近なところで米軍基地が近くにいる人とかね、そういった方たちがどういったふうに問題を捉えてるかっていう、そこを共通認識として持った方がいいんじゃないかな。
期待しているのは行動力がありますので、何か日本にいい方向に行ったらなと思ってます。直接関税問題が発生している業界に勤めてはいないので、あくまで聞いた話にはなるのですが、日本もアメリカも両方、これならいいだろうというどこか及第点みたいなところを見つけられたらと思います。
Well, that's all that we have time for this hour. Keep watching NewsX World for more international news updates.